What's good, people? I got a fragrance here creatively directed by YouTuber CurlyFragrance. Apparently, this is her new brand. It's called Elyon Dubai. It's a little confusion because I thought her brand was Reisiger Perfumes. So a lot of people have been asking me, well, what happened to Reisiger? Is Reisiger her brand? Is Elyon her brand? Is Elyon her brand? Or is she just collaborating with this company? I don't know. But I do know her original fragrance, Attraction Fatale. I have a video on it if you guys want to check it out. My initial thoughts on that were, it was good. Just really overpriced, and I completely understood it because from what I understood, she sank a lot of her own money to it, and I've always had the feeling that, okay, she put all her money into it. It's a huge investment and a huge risk. She has to charge this, certain amount. Hopefully it's so successful that eventually she can drop the price. And so I seen this new release, and then I seen the price tag. Still expensive. It's $250. I got it for I think it's a limited time price reduction since it just launched for $180. Add $20 for shipping, that's $200. So I said, okay, it's a little less expensive. And this is completely my fault. Again, I think you deserve kind of a little bit of a brand loyalty when you release things that are good. You guys already know I don't like Mr. Smelly, but he's released 5 fragrances now that were all pretty solid. So he's kind of earned my purchasing decision, my blind buy. So without looking at any notes or even the size of the bottle, I just blind bought this, and I didn't see on the website, because you have to click into the details to see it. I didn't see that this was just a 50 ml. So yeah, this is not a less expensive fragrance than her first release. It's actually more expensive. It's $250 for 50 ml. Again, I paid $200 for 50 ml, which is a lot of money. And I'll start off with the packaging. The packaging looks very $30 arm off. Literally the same type of medallion on the front that's on the Club de Nuit line of arm off fragrances. You open the box, it's this magnetic box. And I don't know how much of this is this packaging looking and being cheap, or the fact that these Middle Eastern clone houses like Armoff and Afnan are just getting so much better at making packaging and presentation in the bottles, but it is what it is. Inside of it, you have the bottle, and it sits in the box, but the problem is the bottom of the box is so shallow that it shakes real easy. When I opened it for the first time, it kind of looked like this. The bottle itself, even though this is a masculine fragrance, looks like a purse with well, I'm not going to say what it looks like on top of it, but it's a unique shaped cap. Let's say that. Let's put it this way. I think the medallion needs to put itself in position, if you get my drift. The cap's weird. It's awkward to take off. Just pulling it off at first can be a little awkward to some people. I just kind of, push it, tilt it back off it. But I'm sure you're going to have a bunch of people saying the bottle doesn't matter, the presentation doesn't matter. It's the juice inside. So if that's you, just to ignore everything I said. What does it smell like? What does it smell like? Well, let's start off with something positive. This is advertised as being beast mode, being strong. One spray will last you 24 hours. I actually saw somebody complain about the longevity, and he said, I'm wearing one spray, but it only lasted 10 hours. Does one spray last 24 hours? No. Are you really going to complain about one spray only lasting 10 hours? That's ridiculous. This fragrance, when it comes to performance and longevity and projection, is as advertised. It's beast mode. As always, no tester strip needed. This is my scent of the day, and I'm wearing 3 sprays, and it is beast mode. As a matter of fact, this isn't a mass appealing fragrance that you'll find on the counter of Macy's. I would start with 1 or 2 sprays and see if you want more of this, because this fragrance is a very simple fragrance. This fragrance is oud and lots of it. And when looking at the size of the bottle and looking at how simple of a fragrance it is, I just had to ask myself, why is this so expensive? Is this using real oud? I mean, I know it's a 40% oil concentration, which I believe it is. I actually have some real oud that I used for testing purposes, and when I compared them side by side, they are very close. So while I can't guarantee you or tell you with 100% certainty that this has real oud in it, if I had to take an educated guess, I would say there is, yes, some amount of real oud in it. Like I said, it's a simple fragrance. It lacks a lot of complexity. Most of the complexity comes from the actual oud itself, which is why I personally feel that it is real oud. Next, you're going to get a bunch of leather. If you wanted to know what this smells like, you could probably stop the video right here because it's oud and leather. Oud and leather. Leather and oud. Oud and leather. The leather's okay. Now, if you really want to dig deep into the fragrance and what it smells like, you get a little bit peeking in and out of a tobacco, very dry tobacco. And if I'm completely honest, a kind of a cheap tobacco. I smoke cigars. I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to even get bags of tobacco and roll my own cigarettes. There's expensive tobacco. There's kind of cheap tobacco like Bugler, and then there's the cheap tobacco, the dry, harsh tobacco. You get a little bit of that cheap tobacco in this fragrance. And then you get the supportive note of vetiver. Kind of adds a little bit of cleanness at the bottom of the fragrance. But again, when I compared the real oud on one hand and I put this fragrance on the other, even with all those other notes, they were like 90% identical. So it is a very simple fragrance. It's oud and leather, and that's about it. A little bit of a smoky leather. And when I had the oud on my hand, it smelled good, but I wouldn't just wear the one note of oud. That's where I think this fragrance kind of falls short a little bit, because you're just walking around smelling like oud and leather. It is without a doubt a Middle Eastern fragrance, and it is unapologetic about it. As far as being a panty dropper, no. It's a damn shame too, because part of my testing was on a day where I was wearing Invictus Victory Absolute. A decent fragrance in its own right, nothing that's gonna blow your mind. And when the combination of that Invictus mixed with this, the fragrance was god tier. It was mind-blowing. It was one of the best things I've ever smelled. It took a regular whole bottle of Invictus Victory Absolute and made it like this amazing niche fragrance. And this is what's going to kind of sum up my feelings about this fragrance and the score that I usually give. There's just so little to this fragrance. It just feels so unfinished, so incomplete. I have a couple of Middle Eastern fragrances that I had imported from Dubai, and it's like they're very artistic, very expensive smelling, very complex fragrances that have this in it, but they have a lot of other things in it as well. So I guess if you're into layering, or you really love oud and you just want oud, I guess this would interest you. Otherwise, I'm going to give it a score of, not going to give it a score. I'm going to give it an incomplete. It seems like the building of this fragrance was focused more on having real oud, projection, and longevity. These things that you could put statements about on a website to sell bottles, and not the actual building of an expensive, niche, upscale fragrance. It's an incomplete. It is what it is. CurlyFragrance got the assignment, filled her name out, answered 2 questions, and then turned it in. The rest of the page completely blank. This is flanker time, because I remember another fragrance called Burberry Hero EDT, and that was such a basic B fragrance, but it was the starting point of several other flankers that were really good. So hopefully things that come out in the future are like this, with a bunch of other added notes to it that make it a really nice upscale Middle Eastern fragrance. You know how they say, oh, it smells like Middle Eastern royalty, like one of those fragrances. But sorry, this ain't it. That's all I gotta say about this fragrance. If you've heard what I say about how this smells and you say, wait a minute, that actually sounds kind of good, you could buy this from ElyonDubai.com. I don't have a code, and you've seen the video, I'm probably not going to get one. But there's other reviews and they have codes. So you can go watch those, use their code, and I think you get like $20 off. Thank you guys for watching.